Okay, now I'm ready to take a look at the inflows associated with this decision. And the very first major inflow, obviously, are the cost savings associated with the lower interest rates. So we have the interest rate on the old bond. All right, the interest rate on the old bond is going to be 11.75%, and the interest rate on the new bond is 10.75%. So I can calculate in this, let's see, we'll say, so the old bond is 11.75%. I'm going to go ahead and calculate all of this in this cell right here. So plus 0.1175 minus 0.1075, we know that's 1%, and we'll put that in parentheses. Oops. Put that in parentheses, and we'll multiply this by the outstanding bond value, which is $43 million. Now what that will do is calculate for us our annual savings. Okay, that'll calculate our annual savings and interest, and that comes out to be $43,000. Okay, so that's annual. But our problem here is that that is our cash savings, but remember, we can write off interest against taxes, so we need to calculate what our actual savings are after taxes. And that will be this number times 1 minus the tax rate of 0.3. Alright, that'll be our actual interest savings minus 1 minus 0.3, because we'll have interest or tax savings associated with the write-off that we'll be losing on that savings and interest. So our after-tax savings are actually only $301,000 a year. Alright, so now let's go back to our calculators, and what we're trying to do is calculate the present value of the savings. Alright, so go back to our calculators, and again you want to say second clear time value of money. And what this tells me is, first of all, we're still using our discount rate of 8%. Alright, so the first thing that we have is 17 years of savings we're losing, so 17 will be N, 17N. And then the discount rate of 8 is what we're using for IY, so 8 and then IY. And remember, we're calculating present value, so we skip that button. And then our payment is $301,000. We press the payment button, and future value is 0. Now we can go ahead and compute the present value of the savings, and it ends up being $2,745,613. $2,745,613. That's the present value of our savings. 17 years of those savings at 8% our discount rate. Then we have the underwriting costs on the old issue that we're basically going to have to get rid of right away. All right, that's also an inflow. So the underwriting costs of the old issue, we're told in the problem that the underwriting costs on the old issue are 2.4% of the total bond value. The total bond value is $43 million, and the original underwriting costs, 2.4%. So the original underwriting cost was $43 million times 2.4%, which is $1,032,000. But we wrote off $43,000 per year. All right. The original, let's just check that real quick. Bonds have 17 years left to maturity, and they've been outstanding for 7 years. So we've had these bonds for 24 years. We had to amortize 24 years worth of this number each year. That comes out to be $43,000 a year. That's $1,032,000 divided by 24 years. All right, and we had 7 of those already amortized. So that is, let's do that right here. That is 1032. Our total underwriting costs, okay, divided by 24 times 7 years already amortized. And we will fix this by putting a plus here. So we've already amortized $301,000 of this $132,000 number. So we have the unamortized amount of the difference between these two. $1,032,000 minus 301, that's $731,000. But what we need to do is calculate also the present value of the deferred future write-off. We're going to be able to write this off immediately. The $731,000, that's an immediate benefit. But we need to calculate, and we'll be able to save taxes on that. But we also had that amount that we would have been able to write off over the next 17 years at $43,000 a year as a savings. So now we need to calculate the present value of the deferral. Alright, and that number we'll need our calculators for again. Okay, that's going to be 17 years of $43,000 write-offs or amortization each year, and we're going to use our discount rate of 8%. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our calculators. Again, we can go ahead and clear our time value of money. 17 is N, 8 IY. We're calculating the present value, so we'll skip that for now. 43,000 payment, 0 future value. Let's compute the present value. That ends up being $392,230. $392,230 is the present value of that amortization for 17 years. So we will have a net savings the difference between these two numbers. That's our net savings. However, that's the amount that we'll basically be able to save by writing this off more quickly. But we'll be writing that off against taxes. So the tax benefit after tax that's actually a tax benefit is going to be this number times our tax rate. That ends up being 101,631. So our total inflows will be our present value, the interest savings, and the tax benefit associated with accelerating our underwriting cost write-off. So total inflows are 2,847,244. That means our net present value will be our total inflows minus our total outflows. And at this point, the net present value appears to be negative 324,587, which means that we should not do this project. Should not do it. And we should wait until the interest rates drop even further. My guess is if it drops another percentage point, and we ran the numbers and did the calculations, it might make sense to do it at that point. So I would recommend that we not go forth with this at this point.